Well, hello there, everybody. Exclusives got you down. Well, in this Thursday night live stream, we'll be talking about a little bit about, I suppose, how our collecting habits have perhaps changed due to exclusives and things along those lines. Hang on, now I have to hit cancel. Other things were popping up. So we want to kind of discuss that, see what kind of changes we've made, what things that maybe these larger companies that keep pumping out a lot of exclusives, what they can maybe do, what would be a good middle ground for all of us, because something that it has to be tricky. Because here's the thing, if you break down the kind of stuff that we collect and the kind of stuff that pretty much anyone that produces product has to keep in mind, the top, I'd say the three major things are basically you need to make a product that people like, you need to know the size of your market, and you need to get that stuff to that market. Make it so that the people can pick it up. The problem with that is the size of the market is the variable that's always changing, which kind of makes it so that exclusives and everything else, it makes it tough. It makes it tough for Hasbro, McFarlane, NECA, for Mattel, for all of them to figure out, oh man, okay, so how many should we make? And they're all good sized companies, but they all have multiple lines, multiple divisions. And so to say, they're $1 billion company, they can do another run of this figure that's hard to get. It's not always that easy, simply because what if other lines all decided the same thing, or fans of other things all decided the same thing, and suddenly you've got 100 lines saying, hey, can we spend a little more? And everybody's got shareholders. It all gets crazy. So I'm trying to figure out, with your guys and gals' help, what we can do about mid-grounds and how the collections have changed. So there you go, replay crew. That's what I want to know. Now, wreck ship, ahoy, sir. Oh, man. Oh, don't do this to me already, computer. Matey. FNL forever. Thanks for stopping by, man. Let's see. Oh, dear. Hey, David Chat. Hey, Tragic. How you doing, man? Thanks for stopping in. So, question of the night. How has all the exclusives that just keep coming out, how have they affected your collecting? And I'll answer for me just on one term or one part of it. I was really excited about the Turtles of Grayskull line. I thought, okay, these aren't going to be the most photogenic figures, but they do look like fun, and I like it when companies get to use their imaginations a little more. It's why I have Universal Monsters and the Turtles mashup from NECA. I just love when people get to combine all that stuff. I think it's really cool. So I was thinking, Turtles of Grayskull, awesome. But all the announcements, it felt like, hey, here's going to be an exclusive. This is going to be an exclusive. That's going to be an exclusive. And after a while, without even picking one up, I just thought, yeah, I'm not up for that. I think I'm not going to do that so much. So that's one area where, because I kept hearing the word exclusive, I just never even started that line. So what's everybody else got? Overall, the stuff I collect doesn't have a ton of exclusives. I don't get a lot of Hasbro, Mattel, McFarlane anymore. And NECA stuff tends to be, they'll release it as like a timed exclusive. And then later on, you can usually get it fairly easily. So NECA doesn't bug me so much. Tragic. I got lucky with OAM Coco. Oh, okay, Coco. I haven't really pre-ordered too much as of lately. Got it. Once a man, Cobra Commander. Whew, that took me a minute, Tragic. I'm slow. Harry, toys, tacos, and Toypixx. Gonna be a good night. Oh, I'm jealous. I love tacos. The other night I bought like Orida. It's not Orida. Jose Olay, I think. Yeah, throw these mini tacos in the microwave. Those weren't good. Don't do that to yourselves. If you want tacos, get real tacos. Those were not good. And tacos are basically the world's most perfect food. Speaking only for classified here, the past SDCC exclusives have not been good options in my opinion. simply because they've been Dr. Mindbender and Chuckles, which are both first time release in a line. That is something to consider too. Like exclusives to me, and I think to most people, are things that should be just kind of repaints and stuff that people don't really want, or not. I shouldn't say that because that's going to kind of make Target and Walmart and everybody else go, wait, nobody wants these? We can't have them. But things that aren't essential for our collections. That's what I think of. So, like, to Rex Ship's point, you have, say, a Duke that comes out. Then you have like a Tiger Force Duke. Like, I think the way that Target is handling what's going on with the Tiger Force line is pretty good, but even there, Recondo came out there before he came out as a retro. So it gets a little dicey. I know what you're talking about, Rex Ship, and I think most people agree. The more I miss, less I have an addiction to get them all. Too much stress now. Oh man. Oh. So you're kind of, you want to get them all. Okay, I got you. I got you. So you're kind of a completist. So then you get to the point where this is impossible to complete. What's the point of continuing on down the line? And believe it or not, I totally understand that. You miss too many and you're kind of going, I guess I'm done with this one. Oof. Well, that is a lie. I did get Mezco 2024 SDCC Snake Eyes. No worries. Now everybody's judging you though. It's gonna get rough in here. See, you got it. Giggity. I was feeling pretty good about myself when I figured out that acronym. So what do you guys think, considering the restraints or the constraints, I suppose, that you know that these people have on them, that these departments have on them? For instance, I am sure that Dan Yoon and Ryan Ting and Dwight, everybody over on Marvel Legends, and then Lenny and Tony and everybody over on Classified, and everybody working on all these lines, I am sure they want to get this stuff out to all the people that want it. But it's tricky with what's going on in the background. And I don't want to blame this on the C-suite entirely and shareholders even entirely. It sounds like to try and do another run of figures is just insanely expensive. So unless they know the demand's there, they're not going to do that other run. And so suddenly you've got things that feel short packed and they need to do stuff to get people to go into other stores, which is where the exclusives come in. So it gets tough. Like I said, the marketing window for these guys has to be always moving. Like they have no idea who's going to buy the next wave. We know that some of the lines can't be doing that great because we're not seeing them in stores so much anymore. Somebody asked on my Twitter account, which, by the way, Twitter's been going nuts lately. Thank you if you're checking this video out and you've been on X/Twitter, just checking that stuff out. It's getting crazy. It's a lot of fun. But anyway, now where was I going with all that? It seems it's just tricky to stay with your marketing. It's tricky to figure out who's going to buy what's coming out and all that stuff. So then you decide, okay, well, maybe this one we can get away with as an exclusive. And then it's highly in demand. People start freaking out. And so they keep trying to drip what they've got left. And then when it seems like almost everybody has it, you still have some people saying, I never got it. And now they have to decide, do we do another run? So it's just got to be difficult from that, what's the size of the market aspect. Redshift. Secondly, the way they've handled this year's exclusive figure has been a disaster. People could buy up to 5 at a time is legitimately a mind-boggling idea. You know, somebody brought this up, and I thought it was an interesting hypothesis, I suppose. But they said, what if what happened was Hasbro made tons of them, and people really there wasn't the demand they thought there'd be for them when they took them to SDCC, and they've still got a ton of them. And they thought, let's just try and get rid of them, and they'll still be able to drip some down the line. Now, if that's the case, that's going to be great for the people that still want them. If it's not the case, I'm absolutely with you. 5 at a time makes no sense. Especially, I mean, Cobra Commander's a pretty big name guy, you know? So I get having him in, for instance, he was in the HasLab, but with the wrong Cobra logo. So I kind of understand that kind of exclusive. But when it comes to this, I don't know. That was a whole new figure for all intents and purposes. So yeah, I'm not sure what the thinking was there. Renegade Biker, hey there, and chat. What's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. Tragic. I was trying to be a completist with Joe. Let's see, but I stopped when they came out with the boxed editions with no plastic covers. Yeah, that hosed Hasbro in many ways, I think. It seemed a lot of people were not too happy, including Amazon, Walmart, and Target, which, make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, that is why they went back to the clear plastic. It had nothing to do with the fans sitting there whining about anything. And I'm not saying whining, I don't mean that, but I've heard people say, well, the fans got their way, in talking about how we should be able to recycle and all that stuff. And I'm cool with that take. It's just, it had nothing to do with the fans. I can nearly guarantee it. It always has to do with the bottom line. Now I'm just a selective buyer for customizing and toy photography. Good man, Tragic, good man. The toy photography part is key, of course. Right Ship. Classified Series is the only line that has built-in exclusive versions with the implementation of sub-team versions of the same characters we know and love. I know, and that makes it a little easier, I think, for the G.I. Joe team to get away with it. Which is, again, though, like, why not make a Night Force character an exclusive, you know, instead of just this crazy Cobra Commander? Sometimes part of the problems with the exclusives, I think, especially when we're talking SDCC, like, I understand if you need to make an exclusive for Amazon and Target and Walmart, you need to make something that's going to get people shopping. You know what? I don't even understand it with Amazon so much. I mean, yes, you need to make something that people would love to go to Amazon to check out, but you don't need new molds and all that stuff for an Amazon exclusive. That could be repaints as well, because it's not like Amazon gets a whole lot of foot traffic from people. So Target and Walmart, I can see where they need something a little fancier, hoping that people will come in, buy the figure, and then buy all their groceries and all that stuff. I understand the logic there. What I don't get is when Hasbro is making the exclusive for their own booth at SDCC, they could make it pretty much whatever they wanted, and people would go nuts. So to make it what they did seems to me to be a little bit of a baffling decision. Like, they could have taken anybody and made a Night Force or a Tiger, well, probably not a Tiger Force because of what they've got going with Target, but they could have made any kind of repaint and made it their exclusive, and they still would have gotten a lot of sales on it. If any of that made sense. I feel like I just word saladed a lot of things. Rick, yep, other years was bad too. I do custom, so I just worry about doing that mostly now. I get what I think would look cool repainted. Nice. That's a good plan. I wish I were a customizer. Like, I wish I had taken the time to really get to know that. Right now, I'm in the middle of trying to nail a whole lot of other stuff down, so I don't have much time to learn that. But I still want to build dios. And don't forget, folks, I still want to see what everybody's going to come up with for a Halloween diorama. And we'll take a look at all of those on October 30th. So get playing with those. And remember, the only rule to the Halloween diorama is it's just got to look like a Halloween diorama. It can be silly, it can be fun, it can be spooky, whatever. Just make it fun. I think we should all just enjoy Halloween Eve checking stuff out. Renegade. I think that what happened at Hasbro, when it comes down to how I believe that Hasbro allowed a DDoS direct denial of service, attack on their servers, and then the scalpers are using a shopping bot. Ah, weird. I did not know. Okay, DDoS, directed denial of service. Sweet. I love learning new things. Thank you, sir. That would make sense because it doesn't seem like everybody's sitting on their computer ready to buy like 5 Cobra Commanders, as well as a scalper bot. Yeah. Tragic. That's when I turned an opener after 25 years being a box guy. Oh, once they went into actual boxes instead of the clear windows. Just look at the history of what happened with the other figures that sold out quickly. Was Hasbro a bit like, I knew that NECA was a big time victim of a lot of that stuff way back. I didn't know Hasbro was hit so hard with it, but it wouldn't surprise me. Evening! What's going on, Mr. Matson? Good to see you, sir. What, no evening for me? I see how it is. See, Brick, what's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. Thoughts on exclusives, folks. I found out that I can do like a scroll bar at the bottom to keep the topic like right front and center. But if anybody has thoughts about how we can improve the exclusive situation, or maybe kind of a middle ground between the fans and the producers, let's get chatting. I want to know things. Let's see. What's up, Mr. Matson? Let's see. All right. Pushing the buttons. Oh, the good Mr. Matson shows up and everybody parties. I see. I keyed. At this point, Tiger Force and Python Patrol will be Target. Night Force will be Walmart. To be honest, save for a few of them, none of them have really sold as well as a mainline figure and have gone on sale later. That's true. And that's kind of the game that Hasbro has to play with Target and Walmart too. It's like, okay, we're going to repaint these and we're going to put them out there, and then we're going to really cross our fingers and hope that enough people want to buy them. It's tricky. But that makes it a little easier because now they don't have to come up with new tooling for those figures, which sounds like the super pricey parts. I think a few years ago, they said that tooling for an average figure was something like $100,000. I don't know. I mean, my assumption is that's gone up now in recent years. I just don't know how much. But when you don't have to tool and you can just totally do things in a new kind of plastic or a new color plastic, that's got to be a good thing. Let's see. I called the Hasbro Pulse customer service number today, and the representative said that it was due to a limited number. I seriously doubt that comment. When you guys, I don't know about you guys, but for me, whenever I have some kind of problem, right? So say my phone's not working or something like that, and I get online, the last place, I have an iPhone, the last place I want to look for an answer is on any official apple.com anything. The only place I really find an answer is on forums where people have had the same problem as I have and how they fixed it. And which is terrible because customer service, they just don't do much. I will say I've dealt with NECA customer service a couple times the past year, and they've been really cool. They've been really good. But I haven't called anybody in a while, so I don't know. I don't know if I've told this story before. When I was 8 and 9, I don't know, whenever Flint and Lady J were out, I called Toys R Us. Like, I learned this years ago, guys. When they were out, I called Toys R Us because the parents were always big on call, find out yourself, and if they've got them, we'll see if we can go get, that kind of thing. So I called Toys R Us, and I got somebody who, looking back, was probably some 17, 18-year-old kid. And I said, hey, do you guys have the G.I. Joe Flint and Lady J figures? And they said, oh, yeah, we got lots of them. I said, awesome. So I hung up. I went to my folks, let them know, and we went to pick those figures up. And all they had were Zaymot and Tomaxes. Like they must have thought that was the 2-pack. Like they must have thought what I asked for was a 2-pack, and it turns out it was just that. So years ago, I learned not to trust customer service, which is a terrible thing, but more often than not, that's proven accurate. Long-winded way to address that comment, I suppose. It's horrible to learn that as a kid. Have you seen Walmart putting a bunch of their Joe exclusives at 37 bucks sold and shipped by Walmart? I have not. Anybody else? I found 3 of each of the biker mice from Mars at a Walmart near me. I was shocked. Sweet. I've seen pictures of them out there. What do you think of those, Mr. Madsen? Like I say, I've seen pictures, but I haven't seen. I might have seen a review a ways back. I'm not 100%. And if it did, it might have been toy shizzes, actually. Who knows? I don't know anymore. See, they screwed up and allowed people to buy a few hours early, then had to remove it until 11 a.m. The UK site had it stay up to order hours early too. See, it had been announced one of the days that it was going to go up for sale at 8 a.m. And then later on, they said, oh, my bad, it's going to be 11 a.m. So they threw off like the communication between Hasbro's marketing teams and what goes out to the people, or maybe Hasbro's customer service, I don't know. And what eventually makes it out to all of us does need to get better. And I know Hasbro right now is kind of the top of the mind because of Death's Head and Coco, but they're not the only ones, sadly. Interesting. Yep, I haven't noticed that. Yeah, Tragic scored them hours early too. Man. I don't know much about Nacelle Company. I didn't get the mice. They look good. Ah, got it. Nacelle is Dave Vonner, isn't it? Isn't Vonner one of the people? He was one of the early designers on Toy Biz's Marvel Legends. See, yeah, see. Now people are questioning much. Yeah, Walmart still has them at 37. For months, they put a few on sale because bad sales, I bet. Oh man, yeah. And now we're just getting into I don't know what to do about the Walmart and Target side of things, because obviously Hasbro will say something like this is going up at 1 p.m. and then Target and Walmart are like, it's going up whenever we decide it's going up. So that part gets tricky as well. And sadly, compared to Target and Walmart, Hasbro doesn't have a leg to stand on. They basically have to say, hey, we're telling our people this is going to release at this time. And Walmart and Target are like, okay. And then do what they want anyway because they can. And let's face it, how many of us don't do what we want because we can? I knew a girl that used to hate it when I would say, she would ask me something and I'd just be like, because I can. So of course I said it a lot. See, I did. There was a glitch on Hasbro. There was an ad basket on the website. Man. Yeah, that's a problem that can't be addressed via like what I'm trying to come up with logistically to make it easier. I know I heard today on somebody's, it might have been JC. Seriously, I sit on my couch, I work on stuff, and I have live streams playing. And I think it was JC talking about where it looks like Dragon Man for Marvel Legends is going to be kind of a window, like a window to pre-order it. So like a 30-day window or something, kind of like how Super 7 does stuff. And that's something else to consider. We're getting all these exclusives, and it seems we're getting much smaller runs. And I don't know, I don't know that there are more action figure collectors coming in, or that there aren't a lot more action figures coming in or figure collectors coming in. So I do wonder sometimes if even Hasbro has to do this open pre-order system what's going on? Like, are figures kind of slowly going rough? Like, are they just selling so many fewer that they just can't do much? Or, like in the case of Marvel Legends, for a couple years there, their quality was so bad that I think a lot of people just jumped out of the line, and I'm not sure they've come back. And that's part of why so much was on clearance. Now, massive overproduction as well, but when there's massive overproduction and most of the figures aren't very good, people are going to get out, Target and Walmart are going to get out, and you wonder if people are starting to come back or if they've just stayed away. And so that makes those exclusives trickier. I don't know things. These are all just things I'm thinking of as we go along here. Dragon Man is going to be a real pre-order. They are only making what is ordered in the window. Yep, yep. And now, is that something you guys prefer? Because what I see there, and I like that. I like that idea if I'm ready to go whenever that pre-order happens, right? Now, I don't need Dragon Man, but what is it? When I'm seeing that they're going to do like a 30-day pre-order window or something, my thought goes to, wow, is it that hard? Is the market changing so much that it's that hard to figure out how many should go into a store? And it's that hard for Target or Walmart to even decide you should make any. So is it just, I wonder on one hand, so the HasLab model, obviously, their thing has been, we can't put this stuff on shelves because it's way too big. Now, I've gotten Galactus and I've gotten the Hiss. My assumption is there probably is at least a little something to that. There's no way you want to put those things on a shelf. But I do wonder with Dragon Man, is it more that they're going to try and make it just a smaller HasLab kind of thing? Or is it that they really can't sell this to Target and Walmart, so when they have no idea how large the production run is, they have no idea how much they're going to be able to charge or need to charge? Like, I'd be willing to bet Dragon Man is going to get priced out. They'll figure out what it should cost, and that price will be the bare minimum, whatever order quantity they can go with, and that's going to be higher than what anyone wants. I'm sure of that. I guess what I'm asking overall is, with even Hasbro having to do this, is the health of the figure industry, is it doing okay? Like, I don't see a slowdown on imports, but I do see a slowdown of things making it to stores here. And so that's got to make exclusives even tougher to try and figure out. Also, if you have them in their cart, don't delete it. Keep them in there and check in the late evening or early as hell in the morning. I was hearing that too. I was just, I'm sorry, I was doing a dummy test with him because everybody was saying how quickly he was selling out. And I clicked on it and I put one in the cart and totally forgot about it because I wasn't going to get one. I mean, I'm not going to get one for whatever reason. It just didn't interest me. So I walked away. And again, email from Hasbro Pulse basically saying, hey, you want to buy this? And I totally forgot it was there. Don't worry, I'm sure they removed it from my cart and someone else was able to grab it. Because they do that when you're in the middle of ordering. I have serious doubts about the global marketing director of the G.I. Joe team and that person's job description, and the history of that person who's failing upwards on the job for the past 4 years. Who is I mean, you don't even need to give away names. What are some of I haven't heard anything about the global marketing director when it comes to the G.I. Joe team. Is that Emily's new title? Because, yeah. And she doesn't seem, if we're talking Emily, and I assume we're not, she doesn't seem to be failing. She's pretty much crushing it with all the stuff she's doing. So yeah, I hadn't heard anything about the global marketing director of G.I. Joe. The amount of screw-ups, you think they fire and hire someone better, but sales still too high, so I bet, why did they not yet? Yeah. I do wonder, one of the things about the G.I. Joe HasLab, the Rattler, are the patches. Like, I think many of you were probably on here when we were talking about it on the live stream, and the Rattler went up, and we went to the page and we were discussing it. And even right away, everybody's like, wait, patches? Really? And I think everybody knew this is just there because they know they can do it. They know they can get away with it. Again, because I can. So you do wonder how much of this is going to be that company, Hasbro in particular, pushing people until they just decide, yeah, I'm out. I'm not going to do this anymore. But yeah, I don't know. So it seems that really what we're talking about is a much bigger issue than just exclusives. But out of curiosity, like I said earlier, with the Turtles Masters line, I just decided right away, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to put up with a bunch of exclusives. I can get, I mean, the main lines I get right now are, let's see, NECA TMNT and Mafex. And I'm going to be adding in some Jada and Action Force. And none of those are all that hard to get. I'm not too worried about exclusives when it comes to those lines. So I feel pretty good about those. It's not going to be a hassle. But I know a lot of people are saying exclusives are just making it less fun. So my assumption is if it's really that much less fun, people are just noping right out of it. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm out. That is Emily's position that I have researched. Really? Okay. See, Ben Montano is the Habrel. Habrel? Good Lord. Hang on. Clearly, I'm not drinking enough tea. Is the Hasbro Global Marketing Director. And is he Ben Montano? suddenly we're going to take this whole exclusives toy live stream into looking on LinkedIn and finding Ben Montano. See, however, that is the corporate method, just like the current presidential administration in charge now. No, we'll keep the politics out. Only because I have no interest in any of it. It has nothing to do with you guys. Have you guys seen, there's a YouTuber named Tyrone Magnus, and I basically have his position when it comes to all this right now. He's like, I'm not watching it because anybody here is worth a crap. I'm watching it for the entertainment value. That's where I'm at. All the exclusive Hasbro store stuff had serious issues from planning and execution. One con exclusive was only allowed for visitors. They got a scan image to buy it if you went to the con. Oh, yeah. So it seems, at least with Hasbro, there's a big time logistics problem. I know with Mattel, when we're talking about Masters Origins, it seems that they sell out of those almost right away. So you wonder, you do wonder sometimes, because an old school marketing tactic is artificial scarcity. So are you trying to create artificial scarcity because that's what worked in years past? Because I think what's going to happen is everybody's going to start to understand that stuff a lot more as everything becomes clearer via internet research. And people are going to start saying, okay, now hang on. Could you really not make more of those exclusives? Or did you just decide not to because scarcity, and now we've got collector stuff, and this stuff should be fun. I don't know. I don't like the whole, I get, like I was saying earlier, I understand Target and Walmart having exclusives. I get that. I understand why they have them. But when you're Mattel and when you're Hasbro and you're in charge of your own exclusives, why make it so tough? But again, that might come back to the moving market, the moving target market. Who knows? I would not want to have the job of the person doing the research to try and stay on top of that, because if you're making something a year in advance, the market can totally change within another year. Oops, sorry about that. Well, the link it took you to, people gave away, so non-visitors got the link and bought most of them. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that seems like somebody would have thought of that. I forgot all about that, actually. I'm remembering it a little bit now. Emily was that position, I think, before Ben Montano took it over, in my opinion. Now Emily has failed upwards. Oh, boy. Ben Montano. Huh. I don't know. I don't know anything about that, but it does seem like logistics play a big part in Hasbro's problems, which might not have much to do with marketing at all. It might be systems type stuff. Ben is her senior. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out, so is it, guys, do you prefer the pre-order window? Because I mean, I see that and I recognize that's probably not great for the industry as a whole, that even Hasbro has to do that. But on the other hand, it might be better for collectors, and it might just be the way that figures are sold in the future. So is the pre-order window the way that you would rather have them handling exclusives? And I mean, I heard JC talking about this, and it made total sense to me. He's right. He was basically saying, and so you put up the figure for the pre-order, and then if they don't hit the minimum number of people needed to make it, they don't hit the minimum order quantity, then they just don't make it. And they have to get a hold of you and say, hey, guys, we had to pre-order or cancel the pre-orders because not enough people were interested. So, yeah, it's all insanity. Sometimes I do prefer pre-orders. It just makes it kind of easy. Yeah, pre-orders do make things a little easier, that's for sure. Let's see. But yeah, the only other way, like the open pre-order window, from a collector's standpoint, it's probably the best way to go, the way that I'm thinking about it. But from a company standpoint, I'm not sure about the health of the company that has to keep doing that, or maybe not necessarily the health of the company, but the health of maybe even the entire action figure segment as we're talking about this. Forget just a line. Maybe the whole segment is in trouble. I don't know. And that's where I start to get worried about the exclusives and all this stuff, and really much smaller production runs and all that, because with a smaller production run, you are going to pay more money. It just, I don't know. It all seems much bigger than what the intended topic was going to be by necessity. I think we need to talk about all this stuff. Let's see, look back 2 years. Oh boy. I prefer an old pre-order method where they let everyone get in on it. Let's see, they cancel, they sell more at the stores. I hate modern pre-orders. Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, there are enough. With smaller production runs, you can figure scalpers are jumping in there even more than they were because they can make more money with a smaller production run. And with exclusives, especially desirable exclusives, scalpers can get in there and buy a ton of those. Yeah, there's no perfect solution. It really is trying to track the market, track the toy buying, or for what we're talking about, the action figure buying market. And that's tricky, especially when you have to have it figured out like a year in advance. Or do you just gamble and say, you know what, we're making this figure? Now, one thing that I do think would help, but I think that most companies would be hesitant to do this, is really start making their figures really good. And I know that a lot of people will argue that that's subjective, and they're right, to be fair. But sometimes you look around at the competition and you say, wow, our stuff is just not as good as theirs is. So why would people buy our stuff? Basically, when your figures are surviving based only on the IP that the figures represent, instead of the actual quality of the figure compared to what else is on the market, I think that's a problem. I think you should be working to get better figures made. And that way you don't have the problem where a lot of people likely did bail on Marvel Legends for those couple years that their stuff was just really bad and just aren't coming back. Now you have a better chance of holding on to them. Maybe the price has to go up a couple bucks. I don't know. But also, maybe because you don't lose a lot of buyers, you don't have to raise the price because now you can save money on making more quantity. Good Lord. This is jumping all over. I don't have a lot of faith. Let's see. No iconography on the website. Yeah. It might be sometimes there's a lot of stuff that one person's trying to handle and it's too much. And what we know of with Hasbro, and this isn't defending Hasbro as much as it is the individual company or the individual employees that work at Hasbro. We've all been in this situation where people get let go, and Hasbro has been letting a lot of people go over the years. People get let go, and instead of the company hiring more to help out, the company instead is saying, hey, can you do this too? And that's just the way it happens. So it's not, I would be hard pressed to blame Emily on things like this. She probably has to triage the biggest stuff. So she has to figure, okay, this is the biggest emergency I got to tackle today. This is the second, this is the third, all that. And I only even think that because we know Hasbro fires tons of people, and many of us have been in that situation where we also know the boss is constantly asking us to do more than what's actually in the job description. And to be fair, I'm usually okay with that, where I was when I was working with corporations and stuff like that. I'm usually okay, but I'm not in the trenches day in and day out as a contractor like a regular employee would be either. See, you could do batches, let's see, on old pre-order methods and fulfill by order date, like way back. If more canceled, you can adapt enough to lower or raise the next wave of batches to be made. You know what? They could do that. The variables I would think would be quality of the figure and character selection. Like, I'm fairly confident in the future here, what we're going to see is a lot less gambling on character selection. I know that Marvel Legends has made their name when it comes to that kind of stuff, but I think unless they really go back to Build-A-Figure waves, I think you're going to see fewer of those kind of C and D tier characters. So in this instance, you could say, have this month you're gonna get a wave done with Spider-Man and Iron Man and Captain America or whatever, and then next month you're gonna do a wave with Wolverine and Thor and Hulk, all that stuff, and you set the prices. When it comes to that, those waves are gonna go like mad. But then you start putting other characters in there that maybe aren't so big to the larger public in general, and that's going to be tricky. It's going to be hard for Marvel Legends. If Legends, I mean, I haven't seen hardly any at Target. I'm almost never at Walmart, so I can't really speak to that. But I haven't seen many at Target unless we're talking like retro waves and stuff like that. So if Legends is really having to cut back in order to sell what they can, I think the quality has to continue to improve. I think maybe they need to make some adjustments in the articulation, only because everyone else is doing better articulation with the exception of the Star Wars line. So I think the figures themselves have to get better, and the character selection has to be A and B tier characters. And in that instance, the quality's good and the characters are well known. I think you could probably start what you're talking about and keep it going without really having to change much when it comes to the quantity. You could even do money paid on the spot for, say, Once a Man Coco pre-sale. Let's see, so people cannot bail out, so they know how many to make and make extras for stores. You know, that's something else. Plenty of places just take the money up front. Super 7 takes the money up front. And maybe that's what you have to do. But then you have the logistical nightmare of we just took all this money up front and it still wasn't enough to get this thing made. So what do we do? And then you have to go in and have somebody do all the refunds. So I don't know. It depends on what the company's capabilities are, to be perfectly honest. I like the idea of paying on the spot so that they're not risking as much. But I don't know if the logistics are going to make that possible for them. Oh, I mean, batch wave of one figure, say once a man Coco. Okay, you just do batches. They do that already. Why we get restocks? Okay, okay. So like you say the minimum order quantity is 10,000. I know they're usually higher than that. And then so they ship out 5,000 to stores, and then a couple months later ship out another 5,000. I gotcha. I think I gotcha. Tragic. I really hope Monster Force really comes out of the gate fighting for our dollars. Lots of waves coming out, and it looks like they took notes from Hasbro and Action Force, in my opinion. Man, yeah, I think they took a lot of Action Force notes, to be perfectly honest. And that's not a shot at Hasbro or anything, but they remind me a lot more of what Action Force is doing than what Hasbro is doing. So we shall see. I do enjoy with Monster Force. Oh, I love the sculpts of some of that stuff. I love how freaky that stuff is. And you guys have heard me say that I'm not into sword and sorcery so much, which is why Masters of the Universe just didn't stick to me when it comes to nostalgia. I'm also not really into zombies and all that stuff, but there's something about Monster Force that has me just going, the imagination. I really think that's a lot of what drives my collecting or my want to get stuff, right? Like right now in my head, let's just get the stuff I know because it'll feel like less of a gamble, game on. But then as things get better, oh man, now the imagination goes. Now maybe I would kind of even go to eBay to get some Turtles of Grayskull or load up on those Universal Monsters and TMNT or that Monster Force, just like this is where the fun is. These are like the cool figures. And Monster Force, again, they look like great figures and they've got massive imagination going with them. I'm a big fan of such things. Yeah. All right. I got it. Sweet. Hey, y'all. I think the whole 5 per order was puzzling. Herman, thanks for stopping by, man. Mindbender was 1 per person. Serpentor and Chuckles with 2 per person. I don't know. Exclusives are always going to be tougher to get. They are, but like we were talking earlier, I don't know. I feel like they're making things way harder than they used to make them for people. Only because I don't know. It seems at least I guess the 80s and the 90s were kind of they had their heyday. Like every line had a cartoon that was a toy commercial, but it stuck with us, man. That's why the stuff that people who grew up in the 80s and 90s, that's why that's still the stuff that's on the shelves, is because all that really stuck with us. And so I think way back when, you didn't have to do so much exclusive because you could load the store with, say, an aisle of G.I. Joe, and you knew people were coming in to buy G.I. Joe, so who needs the exclusive, right? But now there's so little, you almost need the exclusives. I don't know. I'm kind of just talking in circles here, trying to figure it out. I think the exclusive thing is going to boil down more to the company deciding we need to give exclusives, like we need to make exclusives that not everybody wants. And that can be tricky if they don't just do repaints. And if they just do repaints, suddenly Walmart and Target are thinking, hey, nobody's coming in to get these exclusives, so what's up? But again, I don't think that Hasbro should have made, when it's their own exclusive, I think they need to be a little better about how they do this stuff. G.I. Joe seems to be the one constant going on with Hasbro right now when it comes to action figures. They should have a pretty good handle on the size of their market, I think. Tragic. I got Van Helsing on pre-order, so we will see. Yeah, I still got to pre-order the Donner Party. How soon are those things supposed to come out? Because I know, I mean, it feels like we've been waiting forever for them to show up. But yeah, I definitely need to grab more. Did you see Amazon has layaway? They're testing out now on certain stuff. Crazy. I miss those days at Kmart. You know, I used to work at Kmart and I would use layaway quite a bit because I was a punk kid and that made it easy. I did not see that Amazon has layaway though. That's interesting. What gets tricky, so this is just possibly in my head. Let me know if you guys have the same experience. But so much comes out that I like that I look at it and say, oh man, I can do the pay in four. But suddenly now you got 5 things that showed up this month that you really like. And you do the pay in four on all of them. And that's the same thing with layaway. Suddenly everything is awesome at once. So now do I do, you know, pay this month X amount, pay next month X amount, you know, or is it just the same as buying it all as it comes out? I don't know. It gets kind of crazy. I know in my head anyway, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. I can't do it. It's craziness. On a different note, have you seen my work in progress of the 3D printing project of the Cobra Night Raven on my channel? Renegade, I completely forgot to even go check it. I will check it after this, promise. I do want to see that. Do you remember the Hills and other stores that did diorama scenes that made me want to go to the store to see them? It was great PR for the store. I don't remember if any stores around me did dios, but I will tell you what I love doing is walking into Target now and seeing like Legos, like built Legos in those clear plastic cases where you can just see that little setup in there. It is really cool. But at the same time, how much is that cost in Lego for the shelf space? And would other places spend that much to have a similar thing done on the shelf that wasn't selling? I mean, basically for that shelf space, now you've just got a diode there that's not going to sell. So Lego's got to pay a pretty penny for that. And somebody else would pay a pretty penny for that because there's no real turnover possibly. I don't know, man. Everything sadly is coming down to just total dollars and dimes. And it's kind of bothersome, to be honest. But I get it too. Monster Force Wave 1 due to come out August, but they have been pushing that date back. All right, all right. I like the 3 main characters. I like Van Helsing, I like Dracula, and I like, what is it, the Forbidden King? Is that what he's called? Or the Forgotten King? Something, I think the Forgotten King. And then I like the soldiers too. I like, they've got a real World War II vibe to them. So they look, I mean, from a certain army in World War II, they have that extra evil look to them, which is what makes them half the fun. I'm going to make it remote controlled. How big is this thing going to be? Because that's insane. Of course, I was thinking huge battery. Maybe that doesn't take much to make something remote control. I don't know. I think layaway would help people struggling, but if they miss payment, do they get screwed? Ouch, the downfall for layaway. That's what I mean. Like the paying for, the layaway system, all that stuff. Suddenly you're spending just as much every month that you were spending anyway, except now you're doing it to put things on, like to make it so you don't have to spend as much right away, except next month you're going to spend the same amount. I don't know. In my head, it's more trouble than it's worth. I'd rather just pay for everything right up front. Let's see. No, but I will. Facebook and IG, same name. Yeah, Renegade, let us know. Let us know, see? I don't know why I went just gangster there. See, 4.5 feet long. Oh, that's going to be fun. That's going to be sweet. Anyway, so I think we've gotten around the whole, I think we've chatted about exclusives plenty. Let's see, what do I have sitting around here? I took a shot of this guy today. I was pretty happy with that. If you guys have seen all the stuff on the various Toypixx channels and all that good stuff, I love 3 Zeros Transformers. I really do. I know everybody's like the new hotness right now because it's less expensive and totally nostalgic is Yolo Park. I totally get that, but I've always liked newer looks. So while they're pricier, I just dig this. I don't know. I don't know. This Prime is fun. And for those who don't know, today is the 38th anniversary of Transformers the movie coming out in theaters. That's right. The first time I was ever traumatized in a movie theater was 38 years ago today. Maybe. Did I see it on opening day? I don't know. Probably not. There wasn't such a push to see things on opening day at that time. And then just because I can, this guy is hanging out at the desk too. He's all dangerously cheesy and stuff. I like it. Why don't we now, since we have chatted exclusives and done all that stuff, why don't I, and since we're talking Monster Force, oh, wait, first, hold on. I'm going to share the screen here, guys, on this. I just saw this. I don't have enough NECA stuff to be like, yeah, I love NECA, and NECA's the greatest ever, and all that stuff. But I do, when I see their stuff, I just think it's awesome. Like, check this out. I don't even know what this is. It's an Iron Maiden something, I believe. And I don't know Iron Maiden enough to tell you who these characters are. I do know NECA enough to tell you they went all out on them and they look crazy. Like this guy in particular, and not just because of the gesture he's making with his finger, but like there's a picture of him all bloodied up. Like, look at that. Look at his face right there. Yeah, and check that out. These guys are gnarly. And true to NECA form, look at all the stuff they come with. I have no idea. This is what I'm talking about when I say it's not fair to say I only buy what I like, because I think this is super cool. And that happens every day. I see something that I have no attachment to or anything, and I go, okay, that's rad. That's something that I should probably have. Anyway, that was a little side tangent there for that stuff. Layaway will grab people not having much money now and help them get them over time. It is just to tap into those people. But me, if I don't got the money, I don't buy. But it would be tempting. I know. Like, it's one of the reasons that I'm not a big fan of credit cards, honestly, is because it just makes it too easy to spend money that maybe you don't have, you know? I want the samurai. It looks like a 2-pack. I'm not sure you can split them up, but they look so cool. That is cool. It is a UK band, English rock. I did not know that. Anyway, I was looking at that. I was going to Monster Force just because, and totally forgot to show you guys those guys. All right, let's look at, all right, new and popular. Let's get past that. I want to go to old and almost released. Okay, Forgotten King is still saying August. But yeah, you know what I think my favorite part here is the effect that he's holding on to. I think that is sweet. The Egyptian styling on him, he'd be the first figure I ever got with that kind of styling, which would also be really cool. But that effect is awesome. That's the kind of stuff I'd like to see Marvel Legends tackle a little more, you know? But yeah, I think that is super cool. Oh, I double lied. I have another pre-order. I got the Savage Crucible for Zeta Conan look-alike. Got it. Got it. Okay. Tragic, you know, your whole lying is starting to become a problem. You need to see somebody about that. The nose is getting longer. Tragic can have the other. And me, the samurai, down for that, Tragic? That's true. You guys just totally be like, okay, you get that one, I get this one, we're good. But yeah, I really like what's going on with Monster Force. And I like that they went in and took a lot more of these pictures too. I thought that was cool. Because before, like, we were getting this and basically the black background. But look at all the stuff they come with. That's what I'm talking about with now. Whoever brought up that they're kind of taking a lesson from, it seems, Hasbro and Action Force, I can see the Hasbro influence in like the accessory piece. You know, they're the one that I really like, the blue piece. But the rest of it, it feels like, oh man, okay, we got to go Action Force here. We got to make these things. We got to give them plenty of stuff. We got to give people a lot for their money. Let's go to Van Helsing. I'll look at Dracula here in a minute, but this is the one Tragic's got on pre-order. I like what they've done here. Like, I like that you can see the figure and then you can see the figure in action. So you get all the details with something like this, and you see what the figure can do with something like that, and kind of potentially what they could look like in your toy photos. And look at that. Man, Tragic. Why you gotta make me look at this stuff? This guy is loaded. And I mean, I looked at him way back when, but wow. That almost sounded like a little bit of a walking. Wow. Egad. Mr. McDysentery, you did make it. Glad you did, sir. Thank you for stopping by. Darn you, Tragic. See, like Sharon Stone, that's an impressive spread. This is fair. This is fair. It's been so long since, oh, Basic Instinct for the kids. Savage Crucible had the grandson of Frazetta on their stream. Oh, that's awesome. They said they're making all of the Frazetta museum art, and the Frazetta girls are making their own figures. Family Feud. Wow. Oh, that's something that Steve Harvey's got to get in the middle of, obviously. We need to see this settled so everybody can come together and make a glorious, defining Frazetta line. But man, now I need to look more into Savage Crucible. Frazetta is one of those artists that does incredible work, and I don't have any of it. I mean, obviously I wouldn't have any of the originals, but I don't have any of that. I don't have any of the figures. There are several adjustments I have to make. I want dinosaurs from NECA. Bad. Waiting on a sale since I spend most for G.I. Joe and custom fodder. Expensive hobby. Yeah, we were talking about that the other night. For me, it's like, okay, it was when we were talking about focus, trying to figure out how to focus our collection. Suddenly I'm going, okay, even if I focus it down to 3 or 4 collections, then I'm still talking accessory packs, like, for instance, Vala versus weapons packs, or I'm thinking dios, and then I'm thinking photography stuff. Like, oh God, there's so many collections I have to get on board. It is pricey to do the fun stuff, that's for sure. How he can have, let's see, how he can hold the pistol? It is the proper way? Is that what you're saying, Tragic? Looks like he's got enough hands so he can do it. Dang, man, look at all those hands. What's the price on these? I think this one's $36.99. Hang on, I'll head over and check it out. Yep, $36.99. And you want a photogenic figure. You want a figure with all those hands. That's insane. Now, obviously, it's basically gloved hands and just flesh color hands for, you know, when he's wearing gloves and when he's not wearing gloves. So it's not like they're all a different pair, but they're great. I mean, there's so much expression you can get with something like that. The only thing that would have made this perfect is like a yelling head or something. But I'm not going to hold it against him. With everything this guy comes with, it's incredible. But yeah, this is when people are bringing up Monster Force. Let me look here at the prices. I think they're all $36.99. This is probably going to end up being, like, I'll get the Jada stuff. I want to get all the Jada figures because I'm sick. But for like a modern freaky type thing, this will probably end up being my Dracula. And he doesn't come with as much stuff, but he's still really rad. So I wonder, obviously they have to do kind of what Hasbro talks about doing, where they have to give several characters very few parts, while one or two get quite a few because of tooling cost and blah, 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 and spreading out accessories throughout waves and lines of figures and all that. So clearly Van Helsing got all the things and Dracula got fewer. But does Dracula really need any more than that? He's even got the crazy head. Yeah, I'm a fan. And I love that they've got story for all this stuff too. That's something that I miss from the 80s and 90s. And I think that's something that a lot of companies are missing from the 80s and 90s, is they're not focused on building out the universe of new lines or even current lines. Hold. Got it. Okay. So I was right. Whew! Yes, he should be able to hold them just fine. Did everyone see the sneak peek of Norsemen stop motion for their next figures? I'm guessing Horsemen? I did not see that. But if it's Norsemen, that's something I haven't heard of and something else that probably demands my money. Thanks a lot. Sorry, I'm painting and texting blurry on my phone. You're good, Tragic. Don't worry. As long as you cease that lying. See, $36.99. Nice. I wish Hasbro would take this approach with established characters. A Spider-Man with 14 hands, 3 heads, 5 web effects, and a backpack would get this price out of me all day. You know, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where I wonder how much homework they've done to see at this point how much people are willing to spend on this stuff. So I don't know. I wonder if they're still looking at it as these action figures are mass market when they're becoming less so. So they're trying to get like parents and kids and collectors at the same time, when maybe if they gave their figures a little more, spruced them up a bit, and they charged a little more, I wonder if people would pay. I mean, I'm with you. For a quality figure, I will spend more money. But I wonder if they're if their research has told them otherwise. I can't pull the trigger on Dracula, but because he looks badass, I may have to get him. Yeah, I think he would be, that's the thing. I think he would be the Dracula in my collection. That wasn't, you know, Universal Monsters from Jada. Rest of the wave is awesome. The latest wave has a Coco hood. Is it from this? Wasn't that a different line? I can't remember. I'm doing the Cobra Night Raven on my Creality K1 Max and Creality K1C 3D printer. They're a Core XY printer. I'll have to look. Do you talk about that in your videos, Renegade? Because I don't have a 3D printer. So I don't, basically, if I decide I'm going to get something, I'll research the crap out of it. But if I don't decide I'm going to get something, it just stays, I'm completely ignorant to it. Rosetta Girls. Okay, the Norsemen? I did not then. Yes, that was awesome. No, I totally missed it. Crap on a crap cracker. I don't know. Their research told me Agatha Harkness figures would sell well. there is something to be said about that. I think part of the problem with Hasbro's relationship with Disney is that Disney is so insistent these days on not letting anything get spoiled that Hasbro can't time the releases of their waves. I actually don't hold that one against Hasbro. Like maybe if everything comes out as the shows or as the movies come out, maybe they do a lot better. But I really think the relationship with Disney hurts them a little bit. I don't know how much. I wouldn't even pretend to guess. But yeah, I think they'd sell a lot more things if they could time the release with the release of all the media that's out there. I get talking too fast and then my brain has to catch up. Told them. Oh, yep. I figured that's what you meant. No worries. The gloss plastic on the Joes and arm colors, different shade, turns me off on the current Joes. Why I have to repaint what I get these days. Fine, let's see. Oh, they're fine. Just bothers me. The light shine blinds me. You know, I actually, when I review something like that, I talk about how much they shine under the lights because a lot of times it kind of throws off a photo because you've got to light things a specific way and suddenly there's two different kinds of texture or two different kinds of paint. It gets a lot trickier. Monster Force Coco hooded head. Also, the human face is the comic version of Coco's face. Oh, man. I got to go find that. I know they were doing a bunch of, like, they were announcing some other stuff. So I just couldn't remember, is that the one that's red or is it black? The sleazy car salesman. That is my favorite. That is my favorite version of Cobra Commander. That's why the Once a Man Cobra Commander didn't really appeal to me so much. I got you. No worries forever. Okay. Let's go back then here. So now I want to see this duder. Wait, what's this? Oh, I thought something was in stock. It says coming soon. Never mind. Where is the hooded guy? Red Nocturnal. Oh, I'm just looking. Don't mind me. Just trying to find the things. You know what? You know what I want that's silly? I want a few of these guys. I don't know why. You could do so much with them. Like, I really want to find out if a Mafex head will fit on top of that thing. Because suddenly you can give all your figures suits. Because I'm a sicko like that with Mafex. Renegade. I talk about it on my 3D printer playlist. Core XY printers are an interesting 3D printers. Okay, cool. Appreciate it, sir. I will check that out. I'll check out the Raven for sure tonight. Yep, really adds extra work to get a nice shot. It does. It's like, wait, shouldn't the pants all be the same shine? The Core XY printers are an FDM printer. See, now you're using acronyms I got nothing with. Ooh, Matrix. Yeah, you can go a little Mr. Smith on these too. The agents look dope. I love the extra set, like the extra heads you can get with them too. Can't go wrong with a good guy in a suit figure. I totally agree. All right, let's get out of the guy with the suit. This guy, Halloween boy cracks me up. Hang on, hang on. I got to go to the one that I must have that's like incredibly important. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Oh, you got to be here. Don't tell me you're not here. There it is. I need this guy. Clearly, I also need help. But hey, he comes with a Tommy gun, so he's awesome. But yeah, this is the guy that I have to get simply because of growing up in California and Nevada and learning about the Donner Party when I was like 7 or 8 years old. That's right. We were learning all about that. And I think kids today, they probably wait till they're in like their 20s before they teach them about things like the Donner Party. But yeah, I need to get that. I think I need that guy in the suit and cancel a few Joes. You know what's cool? Okay, check this out. I don't know if everybody's been paying attention to Monster Force here, but like some of the just basic figures are awesome too. Let's see where what I think I passed it this way. Here we go. This guy, the Phantom Core. And that's just a dude. Look at all the hands, look at all the weapons, look at all the gear. I mean, that could just be a soldier just doing whatever. And then what's cool with him too is they have this. It's kind of like getting an Action Force accessory or gear pack or something. You get this and you can load those soldiers up with this stuff. Like that is super cool to me. And maybe there's a beret here we can make work for Flint in the future. Just have to paint the silver red. But yeah, I find just this stuff that's just normal dudes to be awesome too. Like the general here. Because look at that spread. I'm pretty sure we've got Colton in there. And we've even got a Thunderbolt Ross. Who's the guy in the middle, guys? Help me out. But yeah, this is one of the reasons that Monster Force is so cool. They've got great, crazy, imaginative figures, but then they've also got these basic designs that just look like they're going to work wonderfully for our other stuff. The Coco knockoff is Fresh Monkey Fiction, Order of the Crimson Moon. Okay, okay. Thank you, Harry. I was thinking it wasn't Monster Force, but I couldn't remember what it was called. And that is the red hooded guy. Awesome. I appreciate it. We'll go see if we can find him here in a minute. And Donner, that young. Man, when you live in the area where it happened, I guess there was a sick sense of civic pride. I don't know. Holy crap, these Monster Force figures keep just getting wilder. Just keep getting wilder. I know, man. Like, that's why I can't wait to see some of the regular figures start to get reviewed. I might need to buy more of these. Yeah. Yeah, the monsters from Monster Force are kind of, if you like them, cool, get them. But then all these kinds of guys you can get for any collection, which I'm sure they're counting on. Hold on, that Phantom Core is a direct counterpart to the classified 60th Infantry and costs roughly the same. I didn't even notice. Wait a sec, hold on, we'll head back. Go, 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 Phantom Core. $36.99. Yep, he's got a lot of stuff. He's got the hands. That's where the Joe figure lost it. But I think the Joe figure technically came with more stuff, didn't it? The Crimson Moon is the prequel to Monster Force, and it's awesome looking. I hope they get away with it. The Crimson Moon that was the Palatoy thing, right? See, geez, that's a perfect officer. Yeah, that general is insane. Tragic. Here we go with the save. Yeah, we'll check out Order of the Crimson Moon here in a minute. Is there non-digital photos of these? Not the later ones, sadly. There are of some different soldiers earlier, but I think once these get closer to actually coming out, they'll get some real ones. I need 3 of those generals so I can have the jugglers. Oh man, which one am I missing? I mean, I'm sorry, which ones are the jugglers' heads? Like, is Flag one of them and I didn't notice? There are in-hand photos of the translucent Dracula and Forgotten King. Also, their Naughty or Nice line is out. Yeah, that's something I need. I don't know why. I feel like on one hand, I need a basic Santa for my collection. But on the other hand, do I really need a basic Santa for my collection? Joe Infantry had more stuff, but no alternate hands other than the opposite tones grips. I'd rather have the hands. Spaded one, spoken like a man after my own heart. I do enjoy the hands. And then you get the gear pack to give them even more stuff. See, cool, thank you. Yeah, they don't, the earlier one, I think the first 6 that are coming out have regular Flag, Austin, Colton. Okay. Cool beans. Thank you, Mr. Madsen. Mr. Madsen. Good Lord. See, that's what I'm saying. My brain gets ahead of my mouth or vice versa. It just depends on the day, really. All right, let's go find some Order of the Crimson Moon. Look at that, guys. I typed that and I was good to go. I'm pretty proud of myself. Was it Spain? No. Dang it. Did I just fly right past it? Oh, I did just fly right past it. Yeah. That is totally Coco. I mean, I don't think for any customizer, I don't think for me, it would be that difficult to paint this head blue and pop it on a classified Cobra Commander. Now, I will say this is awesome on one hand, and it makes me sad on the other hand, because chances are that means that the Mafex heads don't fit on these ball pegs. These ball pegs are designed with G.I. Joe Classified in mind. But that's not that big a sadness. I can get over that pretty quickly, I think, especially considering Mafex has an actual Bruce Wayne coming out for Hush and a Clark Kent coming out for Hush. But that is super cool. Is there, let's see. Yeah, these later figures are all just renders. We all need that Santa. I mean, maybe we do all need that Santa. The collection needs its holiday heroes. That classic Santa is an awesome figure. Ah, don't say that. Don't tell me these things. Oh, and General Hollingsworth. I need 4. Okay. I was trying to remember who the 4th one would be. It's been a while since I read the books. I remembered Flag and Colton more than I remembered even the others. There should be a blue one. That would be awesome. I thought there was it another line that maybe did black, or am I just dreaming at this point? Let's see. Also, just show a hooded Baron Zemo. Looks like you may be closer to a hooded Cobra Commander than you think. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the fact that you're putting a hood on an evil terrorist organization's leader makes that a little extra dicey. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Hasbro's rules are about all those things. I know a lot of what we hear is stuff that the fans seem to have just decided was the way it must be. But anyway, all right, folks. I think we've chatted exclusives enough, and I think we've chatted Monster Force not near enough. But don't worry, I'm sure we'll talk about it more, especially as these things start to release. So, with that, thanks as always for stopping by. It is always massively appreciated. And until next time, have fun. Happy snapping. I'm clicking the end stream